Morning everybody, Gary Chillingworth here for Airgun Magazine, Shooting and Country TV. Welcome to Life at the Range. Well, we're off to the range, Maldon and District Airgun Club. We're going to do our HFT walk around, and the gun we're going to be using today is the HW100, which should be a lot of fun. The KT, the nice one. Now, if you are interested in me doing another HFT walk around, but with a Springer, possibly an HW95, which is our new gun for our budget HFT series, please let me know in the comments below. Emily has also asked, can you please, I know I ask every week, the like, share and subscribe. It really does help with getting videos like this made, because it bumps the videos from all of Shooting and Country TV up the listings. So it is really helpful. And anything you want, stick it in the comments below, or if you think I've got something wrong, please let me know in the comments. It really is appreciated. We've got some great content coming up for 2022. I'm off to go and get some breakfast, so I'm going to pass you over to the fat man on the range, and he's going to tell you a bit more about the HW100 KT. And next time you see me, not him, we'll be at Maldon. Off to McDonald's. See you in a bit. Bye. Okay, so the Viroc HW100 KT, thumbhole version, laminate stock, adjustable cheek piece, adjustable butt pad. Now, when you look at the HW100 range, there are loads to choose from. The FSB with the fully shrouded battle, or even the fully shrouded barrel. The S, the thumbhole, the T. There are so many different variants. Pays your money, you takes your choice. This is the most expensive. It is the Target version, but the fact that it's got the adjustable cheek piece, the adjustable butt pad, this at the front of it. The other thing I love about Virocs is you can replace the forward stud with one that you can then attach a bipod to. Great idea. But this one has also got a Bob Pattendon 3D printed, I'm a little bit closer, 3D printed hamster, which just makes the rifle so controllable. As you all know, I am a air arms man through and through, but this is my rifle. There are many like it, but this one is mine. I love the HW100. They are superbly accurate. Simon Van, ex-England team member, world champion, he used to shoot one competitively, regularly, 58s, 59s. I think he also had a couple of 60s with them. Superbly accurate. I'm not that good with a PCP. Be honest with you, I'm not that good with a Springer these days. They are shots, I think 60 or 70, because it's a relatively small tube, but you can unscrew these and replace it with another one. They've got one of the best magazine systems on the market, but also they've got a great single shot adapter where you just pull the lever, pops out, you put your round in, shut it up, close it, and you're good to go. There's so much has been written and said about these rifles. Basically, they're just really, really good. Super reliable. The bluing's fantastic. This is one I'll never sell. It's a great gun. Love my air arms, but you cannot deny how good an HW100 is.
What? Breakfast? Go get him to talk to you about, I don't know, Neelers. Go away. Breakfast.
Okay, Neelers with an HW100. One of the things I love about this rifle is how compact it is. If you look, when you're starting to shoot, most of the weight of the gun is behind my forward knee. Now I'm going to put the rifle down, mainly because, ow, my knees are absolutely doomed. And the fat man in the car said, go and talk about some Neelers, forgetting that I'm actually in quite a lot of pain. The beauty of the HW100 is how compact the rifle is. You know, it's almost the size of some bullpups. Now, having that mass further back, so you haven't got that long barrel pointing out in front of you, it just helps you with stability, getting all of the mass in with the core. So I don't want to generalise, because I know there are plenty of women out there who can lift far heavier weights than me. But if you've got somebody who is not as strong and they don't want a massively heavy gun or a gun that feels heavy, look at something like the HW100. It's relatively light. In fact, I think it's a similar weight to the S400, but because of how compact it is, it feels easier to manipulate. So it's certainly one to look at for either for a junior, or for or for a lady, or if you just don't want a heavy gun. That's why so many hunters love them, because they're you can pick them up and you can get onto target really quickly, because there's not a lot of mass and length. There's mass, but it's all contained further to the back. Okay, well, we're going to get on with some shooting, and I think Gary's now at the range. I'm full of McDonald's knowing him, well, go and talk to him and he'll show you around Maldon and District. Well, here we are. We're at Maldon and District Airgun Club. There you go. You can see the plinking range behind us. Here we've got the meadow course. We're not going to show that way because we're looking directly into the sun, which is not good. So, while we're just chatting, let's have a look. One of the main advantages of being a member of a club is you have this kind of land. Sitting in front of us here, we've got this massive great tree with targets up the top of it. So if you want to practice your elevated shots, you can. We've got plenty of room to go around to kneel and stand. Becoming a member of a club is more just than being there with your mates and shooting everything. You have a wide selection of targets to shoot at. And that is so important as a competition shooter, not just sitting in your garden plinking away at stuff that's at 10 or 15 yards. So Maldon and District, we've got two great big plinking ranges. We've got a woods course. We've got a meadow course. It's a superb place to shoot. But this is really important. Tell you what, we're going to move down the other end of the course so we're not looking into the sun, and let's have a chat about shooting out in the open. Now, I'm standing here on peg number 19, and in front of me is the target. Put you onto the other one. See that in front of me? There's a rabbit. And that rabbit is around about 32 yards. So I'm going to take my first shot. Now, we've got a strong wind today coming from left to right. So I'm going to shoot my target and I'm going to aim outside left edge. I'll have looked around. There are no other marks on the plate. And I will go a half mil dot outside left edge. And I'll shoot. And the pellet will, let's say, hit in the centre of the kill. I then reset the target, and now I measure from where I aimed to where I hit. I now know at 30 yards, it's giving a half mil dot of wind left to right. So when I go out onto my 40-yard target, the pellet is in the air longer, it's going to move more. So I'm going to give it, say, a mil dot and a half. Now, if I'm not the first to shoot, and there's a couple of people in front of me, I'll let them shoot. And when I get down, I will make a point of looking where on the plate or in the kill their pellets have struck. So I know that when I shoot, it's time. I can then know where I'm aiming at and what my pellet will do. So always measure your first targets if there is wind about, because that will give you a better idea further down the line. Okay, let's go into the woods and see what we can find. Okay, so here we are at our first target. To me, it looks around about 40 to 45 yards away, but sitting in front of me, we have our string carrier. Now, when I pull that tight, I notice on this string carrier, we've only got around about 2 or 3 yards worth of string left on it. Now, no club will use a 40-yard string because it means they can no longer use it on a 45-yard target. So all of these will usually be a minimum of 45 yards, certainly at a national. So that gives me information. Now, I feel like the wind has changed slightly. It's now coming behind us. Looking up at the top of the trees, and there seems to be more of a right to left. So, there's a flag down there as well. So I'm gauging all my information. I know that it's around about 40 to 45 yards. Well, I think about 43. So, there is a definite, I can feel, putting my head that way, I can feel more wind on that side than I can on that side. If I'm not sure, wet my face, and you'll feel through the evaporation, you'll definitely feel what side the wind is coming in. And for me, even though the wind is now coming from behind, there is definitely favouring the right. So, 43 yards on the right hand side. And a dink. 1 point. But let's have another go at it. Okay, I'm now looking at the string, and the string is blowing left and right. Wind is now behind. Now I'm not sure what to do, because the wind is being blown to the left and then to the right. As you can feel, the wind's coming now hard from behind. So that could actually push the pellet up. So it might be worth taking a yard or two off. But what I'm going to do is, as it's coming from behind, I'm going to sit my crosshairs in the middle of the kill. I'm now watching the string, and I'm going to wait for a lull. Okay, lull. And there we go. We got a kill. Sometimes if you're not sure, if in doubt, give it now. Go right at it. If it's coming from behind you, it might speed the pellet up. If the wind's coming into your face, it might slow the pellet down. It's always worth knowing, but usually only by about a yard or so. So if you're not sure, go down the throat. If you can see the string waving from right to left and right to left, and it's not a case that it's blowing across and then falling back. But if you can physically see it being blown and then blown back because the wind's coming from behind, just go down the throat. Spend a lot of time, or as much time as you can, watching strings, because that will certainly help you. Let's go on and find another target. Okay, so here we have our next target. Now, this is a short target, looks around about 8 or 9 yards. Now, we've ranged it standing up, and in my eye, it's about 9 yards long. So, let's have a look at it and see what we can make out. Now, the problem is with my scope, this is incredibly clear from 15 to around about 45 yards because of the way I set it up, because I struggle with longer targets. But I'm now struggling to make out the kill zone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw my head back, and that increases the depth of field. So I can now make out the kill zone. Now, all of these 8 or 9 yard targets will be 20 yards, so it will be 20 mil. It's very rare to get a 21 or a 22. So I'm going to measure it. Put my crosshairs on the left and use the mil dots to measure to the right. And looking at my little chart, it's telling me that it's around about 9 yards. Now, the other thing with really close targets is if you come up and everybody is hit low, then you know that that's 8 yards because someone's tried to put their 9 in it and they've just come out the bottom. Again, if there's a rash of pellets all above, then you're going to know it's maybe 9 or 10, because what people have done is they'll have put their 8 yard aim point in it and they've just come out the top. So if you look at the kill and everything is low, it's shorter than you think. If everything is high, it's longer. This one's 9 yards, which for me is around about 1 mil dot of holdover. And let's see how we go. You don't give wind at this kind of range unless it's absolutely blowing a gale. Okay, bring my eye slightly closer. I can see the kill. And there we go. Nice and easy, 9-yarder, 2 points in the bank. Okay, so on to our next target. Now, this is an interesting target. As you can see through the video, the target is at the bottom of a tunnel of trees. Now, this is often done to give you a wide area at the front with drawing your eyes in. And what it does is it makes the target look further away than it is. Now, to me, that looks a good 40 to 45 yards. But before I look through the scope, I'm guessing a lot of the misses are going to be high. So, let's get a pellet and let's have a look and see what we can see. Oh, strangely enough, quite a lot are actually low. So that's telling me it is actually quite a long way away. But let's have a good look through it. Would have helped if I'd have brought my glove. I've left that in the bag. I can't be bothered to move. Okay, let's have a look. Right. Well, it looks like a relatively big kill, probably a 30 or a 35. There are certainly pellets out the top and out the bottom. So that's telling me that some people have put their 45 in the middle of the kill, have gone out the top. Some people have put maybe their 35 in the middle, have come out the bottom. So I'm thinking that's 40 yards. The wind along the ground doesn't seem to be very strong. So I'm going to aim right at it. 40-yard aim point. Take up the first stage. And we missed. Okay, why did we miss? Well, let's have another one. We'll find a pellet point on the target. And we'll aim at that. And we'll see if we go high or low. Okay, let's have a look. Okay, there's a pellet strike right low on the bottom. Okay, about 41 yards, but there is some right and left wind out there. So, I should have thought about what we learned earlier on about the wind coming from the right. So let's go outside right edge. And there we go, we've got a kill. So this target was put in there to make people think it was 45 yards, where it was actually 40 because your eyes got drawn in. So again, remember, if it's at the bottom of a tunnel, there's a good chance it won't be as long as you think it is. Okay, so here we have our kneel or stander. Now, remember, there are some big differences between kneel and stand only. A kneel or stander with a 35mm kill zone can go out to 40 yards, but a stand only will only ever go out to 30 yards. Now, I'm a great believer in pick a discipline. I take all my kneelers or standing, and I've worked on my standers over the years. And there's a reason for this. Is if you look at the ground here we have the root of a tree. Well, that's exactly where I want to kneel. So if I was going to use this as a kneeler, I would have to be kneeling on the root of a tree. Often around the root of a tree, you can't level the ground. So you're leaning back, you're leaning to the side, you're leaning to the right. Whereas if we grab our rifle, no matter what I want to do, I can always get a stable position, a stable and level position with my legs. So here we have a target, looks like a 25mm kill zone, out at 30 yards. Take my glasses off. That's another important thing. If you wear glasses, if you can set your gun up to shoot without them, shoot without them. It makes life so much easier. Hand on the tree. and wedge your hand, the rifle into your hand to give you a nice and stable position. Remember, you've got the wind coming from the right. Not used to shooting these PCPs. And there we have it. A nice kill, a 25mm target, just over 30 yards. If you've got a knot on the tree, use it as a hand rest. But I strongly recommend practice your standards, because you're always going to get a much firmer, stable base with a standard than you will with a kneeler. Okay, right. One of the really important things to do when you're out filming for the day is, when you've finished filming a particular piece of camera, check the footage. Our last two videos, somehow I managed to slightly disconnect the microphone. So the phone didn't pick up the volume or pick up the sound, and the wired mic didn't pick up the sound. So have a look at this. Yeah, what a numpty. So I need to try and remember what I said, and we're going to cut in me talking on the range with the shooting I actually did at Maldon and District. So apologies for being an idiot, but I haven't got time to go back and film the other two bits there. Didn't realise till I got home. So on with the incompetence. Okay, so elevated target here at Maldon and District. Here at Maldon and District, we often have targets up trees. Now, we just had a thing in Air Gunner on the rifleman's rule, and this is something that you will need to learn if you're an HFT shooter. So as you can see in front of us, we have a target around about 15 yards away. Now, I reckon it's around about 45 to 50 degrees upwards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the base of the tree, and then I'm going to start moving my rifle up and up and up and up and up. Now, I now know that because I'm cranking my neck back and it's actually a little bit stiff, I know that that target is above 45 degrees, with 0 degrees being along the ground. So that means the pellet is going to hit high. So what we're going to do is, we're not going to shoot the kill. We're going to shoot a marker to the right-hand side of the kill. So we're going to do that now. Let's see if I can sync this up. Ooh, look at that lovely mark to the right-hand side of the kill zone. Now what we're going to do is, now that we've got that mark, we're going to put our 15-yard aim point, which is what I just shot that mark at, to the right-hand side. Now, if I'm correct, and that is above 45 degrees, the pellet will hit high. Okay, so we're putting our 15-yard aim point, which is our crosshairs, to the right-hand side. And there we go. It's hit about half a kill high. And that's correct with the rifleman's rule. Now, if it's under 45 degrees, it won't affect it as much. If you're shooting a target 45 yards away and it's high up a tree, you're never going to get to that 45 degrees, because it would have to be so high, you know, it'd have to be in a redwood. But when you really get things like this, is your 15 and 20 mils, which are high up and you're having to bend your neck. So this is something you need to do. Get down to a club and spend time shooting high targets and thinking about how stiff you have to push your neck back, and that will guide you as to where you go. If you've actually got a target that's below your feet as well, it's exactly the same. The pellet will always hit high. Again, 45 degrees. So this is something, I can tell you the theory, but you really just need to go out and experiment. Okay, our final target here at Maldon District. Yay. The spider's web of doom. Looks like a 25mm out of about 35 yards. Obviously, you've got lots of air to go around it. Now, this is quite an interesting one, because in front of us, we've got some undulating ground. The ground is going up and it's going down. So I'm going to put the butt of my rifle on the ground like I usually do. And I've put my crosshairs in the kill zone, or my 35-yard aim point in the kill zone. And what I can see is I can see the ground in the bottom half of my scope. Now, it's below what my 8-yard aim point would be. But this high ground starts about 2 or 3 yards in front. Now, I think that if I try and shoot it regularly, with the butt on the ground, I'm going to hit the deck. So let's give that a go. Load our rifle. Amazing, these super lightweight pellets. They're almost invisible. And there we go, straight into the ground, just in front of us. So what we need to do is we need to come up the peg. So we'll load our next round. And there are 2 ways you can do this. You can get in a bit close to the peg, you can come up. I like to rotate my hand, grip the hamster. That's why a hamster is really important on an HFT rifle. And I push in, almost like pushing into the rifle. Nice and stable. But you notice that my head is now in a slightly different position than if I'm laying on the deck. That's something to be aware of. And I wobbled out to the left. So another great way to shoot up the peg is put your arm on the deck and put the butt of the rifle in the crook of your arm. Then you push down on the cheek piece. Again, another real advantage of having an adjustable cheek piece. So now you're up the peg, you're pushing down on the cheek piece with your cheek, but the rifle is still essentially on the ground because it's in my crook of my arm, which is directly on the floor. So here we go. We're going to aim 35 yards. And there we go. We got a solid kill. And I was considerably more solid on that second shot. So that's our HFT walk around. We're going to do another one with a Springer in a few weeks' time. Well, actually, no, it's probably going to be a few months' time. I've got a few other things to do first. Let me know what other type of shots you would want me to look at. But for now, goodbye from Maldon and District, and I'm going to pass you back to Gary, back at the range, which looks nothing like where we are now. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's HFT walk around and our impromptu visit back to the range. Do apologise, my mistake. I can't believe I didn't check the audio footage. I'm going to invest in some wireless radio mics, I think. As ever, please like, share and subscribe. Let me know in the comments what other shots you would really like me to look at. All of this is guided by you. Thank you so much for all your support, for all your comments, for all your emails. Keep them coming. They're really appreciated. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself. And as ever, be excellent to one another. And I do know who said that. It was me. Ta-da.